Okay, what I was thinking to do today, just to go through the text from number 15 till the end, like 15 shlokas. I will go through, translate all of them, and then we look into the details, if you like. Because I feel that maybe I am dragging time a bit, so I need to hurry up with the text. Sarvendriya. Let me start with mantra. Om Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tammaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. Sarvendriya Gunabhasam Sarvendriya Vivarjitam Asaktam Sarvabhrit Chaiva Nirgunam Gunabhoktricham. He is the one who is free from all the sarva indriya, of all the indriyas, of all the senses, vivarjitam, void of senses, sensual knowledge. Sarvendriya gunabhasam, and it brings light to all the gunas, to all the faculties of consciousness. Because of his presence, the faculties of consciousness act with his consciousness, bhasa. He enlightens them, but he himself is free from them. Asaktam, detached, sarva bharit chaiva, supporting all, nirgunam, he is nirguna, having no qualities, guna bhoktricha, enjoying gunas. So these are kind of paradoxical statements, but they are perfectly describing the spirit present within the nature. Bahir antasya, outside, inside, bhutanam, of all the beings, acharam charam evacha, moving and not moving, sukshmatvat, and because of his subtleties, avijneyam, could not be distinguished, could not be discerned. Durastham, staying far away, cha antike cha tat, and staying near. So he is far and near, and because of the subtlety cannot be easily distinguished. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam iva chasthitam. He is staying as if divided in the beings undivided. He is undivided, staying in the beings as if divided, vibhaktam. Bhuta bhartricha, as if supporter of all the bhutas, of all the beings, that jneyam should be known. Grasishnuba prabhavishnucha, the one who projects everything forward and consumes or takes in everything what is projected. So the beginning and the end of all things. Jyotisham apitat jyotih. He is that light of all the lights. Tamasah param uchyate, higher than any darkness, or superior to darkness. Jnanam jneyam jnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam. He is distributed in the heart of all as the knowledge and that which is to be known. Knowledge and the object of knowledge, as Sri Aurobindo translates. He is seated in the hearts of all. Iti kshetram tatha jnanam jneyam choktam samasatah madbhakta etat vijnaya madbhavaya upapadyate. Thus the field tatha jnanam, and the knowledge of field, yes, or the knowledge to be known, jneyam, cha uktam, spoken, samasatah, in brief. Mad bhaktah, my bhakta, etat vijnaya, having known this, mad bhavaya upapadyate, he attains to my bhava, to my divine being or divine nature. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva, this is typical for Sankhya. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidhi Anadi Ubhav Api. Vikarascha, Vikaranscha Gunanschaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. So Prakriti and Purusha are known them as two infinite or without beginning both entities. You know, there are two infinite or eternal entities, and that is Purusha and Prakriti. They are always there, yes? They cannot be reduced. They do not disappear. So it's according to Sankhya. Though, according to, as Paraprakriti, it never disappears. Vikaranshcha gunanshchaiva, but the vikaras, the distortions or modifications, and the gunas, you should know as those coming from Prakriti, Prakriti Sambhavan, which came from Prakriti. So all the activities, all the modulations, and all the qualities are Prakriti made, but both of them, Prakriti and Purusha, are eternal ones. Karya karana kartritve hetuh prakriti uchyate. Prakriti is the reason for the work, or for the work, the working or the doing, and for the doership. So doership, work, and working, the Prakriti is the cause of these. Purushah sarva dukkhanam bhoktritve heturuchyate. But Purusha is the cause for the enjoyment of what is happiness and unhappiness. This is something we can dwell upon a little more, because this is an interesting distinction. So everything what is done here in the form of doing, work, and the workership, workerhood, doership, doerhood, is made by Prakriti. So Prakriti generates the work, the working, and the worker. It is she who does all these three. And interestingly, in the Karma Yoga, if you remember, and these are all three words connected with root kri, to do, and karma is also one of those words, doing. So Karma Yoga is yoga of karma, of doing, would have that meaning that we have to get rid of three bondages. First one is the our determination with the fruit of action, that what we want to achieve. And this is karyam first, notice. Karyam is that which is to be done, which I want to have as a fruit. So freedom from the fruit of action is the first freedom. Second freedom is the freedom from modality. Notice, karana is doing, the way of doing. Karanam is also the tritiya vibhakti, the instrumental case, by what it is done, in what manner it is done, how. So the how, we have to get rid or become free from the how. I have to be ready to do it in many ways, not only in the way I like to do it. So if I'm kind of planting the trees, I know how to plant the trees in this way, and I'll kind of have that attachment to that way of action. Or I know how to, for example, I don't know, translate the text, and I translate it in my way, how I know it. So that attachment to the modality of action is another great problem for us. So we have to become free from the attachment, and that is karana, from the manner of doing, from the modality of doing. Not how I like to do it, but I can do it how I don't like to do it. So that freedom to choose between how I like to do it and how I don't like, I have to acquire in order to be free from Prakriti. Otherwise, I'm tied by the Prakriti again. And the last freedom, the most difficult one, freedom from the actor. Then I see that only Prakriti is doing everything, not me. She's using my body, my modes, my moods, modalities, my desires, so to say. It's all very relative. It's not mine, actually. It is hers. It is she who provides all those modalities and moods and my capacity and incapacity in the moment of doing. So I think that I am deciding, but it's not true. What I have for myself here is Purusha. And Purusha is the one who enjoys Sukha and Dukkha. What is done well, our happiness and unhappiness. That's all. I am not the doer, not the doing, and not the done, or not that which is to be done. Here in one verse we have the fullness of karma yoga, by the way, from Sankhya point of view. Very beautiful. In case you want to say something, you just have to interrupt, because I'm kind of rolling forward.
So the Prakriti also does it through the gunas. So then we get free of the gunas.
Well, gunas are there. Acting is there, actor is there, and that what is to be done is there. But for me, I recognize it as not me doing it, but Prakriti. I am also Prakriti, yes? Part of me is Prakriti. And I see that part of Prakriti doing it. It's not that I am kind
through
of
the gunas.
Yes, through the gunas, definitely, yes.
Yeah, so that it's not as though one is free of the gunas, but one says that, okay, it is Prakriti acting through the gunas. I'm only the medium.
Right. And these gunas are generating me as a doer in particular way, either energetic or lazy or, sattvic doer, the joker, the stupid one. I can be anything or everything, whatever Prakriti is doing with me with these gunas. Yeah. I can find the right word in the moment or the wrong word in the moment. So I would say that it is me and I will blame myself, but truly speaking, it's Prakriti in me. Yeah? And I am only enjoying the outcome, good or bad, happiness and unhappiness of that what has happened.
So it's setting oneself free, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we stop doing.
No.
Yeah, it means that we are aware of what is going on.
Who is the true actor?
Right. I'm free from the responsibility for doing things right.
So having no attachment to the gunas?
Right. These are gunas rotating in gunas, as in Karma Yoga, he says, yes. So gunas rotating in gunas creating everything. So I see how they create in me. That now I am in such a good state. I was so dull yesterday in this time. Now I am in a good state. Strange, yeah? But this is Prakriti. And then I'm in such a dull state. Oh, so strange. I should be in a better state, I think. Yeah? So here I'm bewildered always that I think about myself as gunas. But it is Prakriti's part in me, which is also myself. We should not say that Prakriti is not me. But if I am identified with Purusha, I see it a bit different. I am free from the object of enjoyment, finally. I am free from the result of action, finally. So the result may be whatever. The enjoyment or not enjoyment can be whatever. Purusha will take it. Yeah? So this is the liberation of the spirit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Vladimir, can I say one thing?
Yes.
It was like amazing to hear you say the second stage of sometimes being open to the possibilities that we've mentally closed ourselves off to, right? I mean, I've been having a very real experience of that where I'm coming from Greenville, this very tranquil, quiet, walk in the mountain place, to being in Mexico City with 19 million people and contemplating moving here and watching over 3 weeks a mind attitude of there is no way I will ever accept myself moving here, to really from a spiritual place being more open to possibilities, like maybe like, okay, what is my dharma, which I think this text is about, and what I'm still trying to learn how to be in line with. And so it's been interesting to see my ego say I could never be happy here, to maybe there are possibilities of being dharmic and integrated and happy here at where so all I'm trying to say is thank you for saying that, because it does seem to be built into this process somewhere, at least I'm experiencing it. Thank you.
It becomes yes, an actual kind of thing of, but you may experience unhappiness, dukkam, as a purusha there, and so take it in as it is, you know. So experiencing dukkam doesn't mean it is totally bad. Yeah, also interesting from the point of view of the spiritual experience. Yeah, sukham or dukkam, these are just experiences for the purusha. Purusha is free from the whole process of making things, but the results Prakriti generates, we call them sukham and dukkam, yes, but truly speaking, for him, it is something very valuable, both. This is most probably difficult to accept, especially from Buddhistic point of view, where dukkam became the very reason of the whole religion. Yes, to get rid of dukkam. And here we look at it as if they are just different modalities of enjoying life, you know. Somewhere Sri Aurobindo also says, interestingly, about if you are born into the rich family or poor, or if you are born poor, you have to learn to enjoy life in poverty. Interesting, because you are not trying to rebuild your life or change it in this egoistic way, which may result in some happiness, yeah. But you have to find the spiritual value in that modality or in that way of living, spiritual modality. And in other place, which is close to the same idea, is he says, if the psychic would be born in, we would come to hell, it would see only heaven everywhere. So this is something of the kind. You see, it doesn't see hell, and because it is in itself already a divine. Yeah, it has itself. So any dukkha is just another kind of, you know, shade of experience for the one who possesses oneself. So it doesn't change much. It gives a flavor or some kind of, you know, we can see this in Savitri, how beautifully he describes You remember the whole passage of the Canto 2 we read, of the Canto 2 of the book 6, the fate and the problem of pain. There is a profound, beautiful description of the soul seeking all this adventure, and through the clash and the ruin and the bare wounded escape, all these experiences the soul is seeking and enjoys tremendously. Purusha enjoys them. It does not say here that he does not enjoy the dukkha. He enjoys it.
Vladimir, I want to make a question. The ego, the ego of the outer being is in Prakriti, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
And then who is experience sukha and dukkha? Is the
Yes,
ego or is another entity?
it's another entity.
But it's not the inner being.
It is the Purusha. Purusha is the soul, our unborn self. Jivatman and psychic being. Here there is no distinction between Purusha, which is unborn self over the head, most probably that is about him, and Purusha who is inborn self, Antaryamin. Because both are Purusha. So it is him who is here as the soul, as a spirit. He is in this process of enjoyment, the soul. And actually, maybe I will even open this Savitri. It will give us that sense which we all seek and want, I think. It will explain exactly this very thing which is so difficult to explain, really. How can one enjoy the destruction and suffering and pain? It is called, the canto is called the let me open it and then it would be easier instead of me talking on the top.
Then what is this talking?
It is Canto 2, Book 6. Let me find Savitri. Oh, here it is. Okay. I have to read a little of this. So when Savitri's mother discovers that Savitri is choosing Satyavan for 1 year of life because within 1 year he has to die, she objects. She says, no way. I refuse this world. I refuse this destiny. I don't like it altogether. So don't even tell me anything. She speaks to Narad, and Narad tells her this. It is his direct speech. We must read some portions of it at least. O mortal, he speaks to her, who complains of death and fate, accuse none of the harms thyself has called. This troubled world thou hast chosen for thy home. Thou art thyself the author of thy pain. Once in the immortal boundlessness of self, capital S, in a vast of truth. Do you see the text, by the way? Yes? You see? In a vast of truth and consciousness and light, the soul looked out from its felicity. It felt the Spirit's interminable bliss. It knew itself deathless, timeless, spaceless, one. It saw the eternal, lived in the infinite. Then, comma, then, Sri Aurobindo always does this. Yeah? Curious of a shadow thrown by truth, it strained towards some otherness of self. It was drawn to an unknown face peering through night. It sensed a negative infinity, a void supernal whose immense excess, imitating God and everlasting time, offered a ground for nature's adverse birth. And matter's rigid, hard unconsciousness, harboring the brilliance of a transient soul that lights up birth and death and ignorant life. I skip few things because it's a longish passage. As one drawn by a grandeur of the void, the soul attracted leaned to the abyss. It longed for the adventure of ignorance. This is what I wanted to say. It longed for the adventure of ignorance and the marvel and surprise of the unknown and the endless possibility that lurked in the womb of chaos and in nothingness gulf, in nothing's gulf, or looked from the unfathomed eyes of chance. It tired of its unchanging happiness. The soul tired of its unchanging happiness. It turned away from immortality. It was drawn to hazard's call and danger's charm. It yearned to the pathos of grief, the drama of pain, perdition's peril, the wounded bear escape. It wanted to experience this. Who can deny to the immortal soul to experience the wounded bear escape? The music of ruin and its glamour and crash, the savor of pity and the gamble of love and passion and the ambiguous face of fate. A world of hard endeavor and difficult toil and battle on extinction's perilous verge, a clash of forces, a vast incertitude. It wanted the vast incertitude. The joy of creation out of nothingness. Strange meetings on the roads of ignorance and the companionship of half-known souls. Or the solitary greatness and lonely force of a separate being conquering its world. I think he speaks about himself, Sri Aurobindo. Called it from its too safe eternity. This all was attracting the soul, this long passage. A huge descent began, a giant fall. For what the spirit sees creates a truth, and what the soul imagines is made a world. This is Sri Aurobindo. This is organum. This is the back of all the poetry, and yeah. So you see, we are attracted to this adventure. We love of everything what is happening here. So this is Purusha here, the simple phrase, who is enjoying the dukkha and sukha. Now it is totally justified. It's really joyful for the spirit It's not joyful for the ego. For the ego, it's painful like anything. But for the spirit, it's totally joyous. Purusha prakritisto hi. Purusha prakritis. I mean, still in this pentameter, my rhythm in mind in different, not in anushtup. Purusha prakritisto hi bhunkte prakriti jangunan karanam gunasangosya sad asad yoni janmaso. Purusha, who stays in Prakriti indeed, enjoys the gunas made by Prakriti. Prakriti creates these gunas, yes, which we just read. So these qualities, these clashes, these events, and Purusha enjoys them. Karanam, he is the reason, gunasangosya, of this guna sanga, the attachment to gunas, sat asat yoni janmaso, and is the cause of his birth in good and evil wombs, or good and evil circumstances, surrounding or houses. So he can be born in different locations, in different context, yeah? Good or bad, doesn't matter. Matters that he is there to go ahead with his plan of adventure. And somewhere even Mother explains this, that for the soul, though it is choosing where to be born, in which place, or choosing the parents and nation and context, it is not so much important to be totally precise. It can be approximate, yeah? Because the soul has its own drive, which is stronger than the circumstances. So what is interesting about my life, I was born in Soviet Union. My father and mother were communists, didn't believe in any God, were totally against any religion. My father was a professional propagandist of atheism, going around telling people there is no God. And look what happened to me, going somewhere to India. So the soul is stronger than the place where it is born. That's what I want to say. Or look at yourself, at your life. Yeah? You will see these unexpected changes in your life, which you cannot explain. Why? What happened? Many times I think that my first marriage, how it crushed, because I had to leave. I had to go. I had to go. I couldn't stay in the same place, otherwise my destiny would not be fulfilled. So all that was done for my sake, for me to go and to be free and to do things which I had to do. So the same with everybody's life. So don't be disappointed when something happens of this kind, that you are free to go. Just breathe the free air and start a new life. That's what I was telling already. It's actually very pleasant to be free from everything which was binding you before. If you have some spirit to, if you don't, if only ego is attached, then it's very painful.
You also get the courage. At that point, somehow you get the courage. You know you're all alone. You're embarking upon the unknown. You don't know what the future will be. And maybe you leave behind a life of total comfort, but you don't care about it anymore.
Yeah.
You just turn your face away like it's over, chapter closed.
Yeah. And you feel good about it. It's a weird thing, yeah? You lost everything and you feel good about it. something in you maybe you're still, kind of sour and scared, but you can deal with that being within you. Yeah, it's all right. It pops up once in a while telling you something, but in general you feel, oh, it's good. I go ahead. You feel sorry for that it didn't happen the way it should happen. Yeah, that you feel sorry. Yeah? That you didn't fulfill totally your divine kind of qualities there. But then later you understand why, because it couldn't be done so easily.
It wouldn't be done under those circumstances.
Absolutely.
Not at all.
You feel sorry because it should have been done much earlier.
Sometimes, yes, you feel that way also. Or you feel sorry because the other person may be suffering when you leave somebody behind. That you could feel, yes. You feel a little guilty for this, that you were part of this pain for the other. But this is all like, and maybe that pain doesn't go, because once you had good relations or love relations, love, when it was there, it is always there. It cannot be gone forever. It's not that the thing. So the love is staying there, and it's some kind of bitterness of that it wasn't realized the way it should be. We couldn't.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. I was just saying the same, that we couldn't overgrow those, kind of context in which we were put. Context was stronger.
Yeah, I want to share. I'm in the other side now, because today my oldest daughter flies to mainland and leave our home. We are a family.
Oh, you are hanging something. Frozen. Siegfried, you're frozen. Can you hear me? Yeah. Yes, you are moving. So it's only Siegfried. I even switched off that projection. It may help. Okay, maybe he will come back and continue his sharing. Right.
But the word integral, this whole integral yoga, the word integral is taking on a living presence inside of me as I continue to contemplate Dharma, Vladimir. And so thank you for being this journey, because it does seem that it's a journey towards integrating the integrity. Oh, I will stop there. But there's something about, this word integral, which I think you are talking about.
Intriguing, integral.
in this journey of integrating.
Integral.
Yes,
this is Purna Yoga, yes, as it is called by Krishna. Is calling his Gita Purna Yoga, yoga of the will, of the love, heart, and of the mind. Yeah, if we connect all of them, three parts of ourselves, into oneness, we are composed beings. Then we are free. We are free to live, not free to go and disappear from life. Free to engage with life. And that is different integrality. Yeah, Siegfried is back. Siegfried, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I'm just talking from the other side of that experience, who is leaving the home and who is staying at home. And you say, who is going out, think about the responsibility of who is getting back. But if I'm back now, I can share with you, I feel my own responsibility of my own subjective interpretation of the experience, then I can say she is the responsible. She has the responsibility because I'm feeling it is my own responsibility of how I'm experience this situation. Then maybe nobody is responsible of the other one. Always you are your own responsibility of how you live your life.
Right. Yeah, you're only responsible for one particular reason, is to be yourself. The more you are yourself, believe me, this will be better for all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if it looks painful to others. Yeah. But if you change yourself and start becoming somebody else on demand, as it were, yeah, then you will suffer and you will make people suffer. We had this very funny story from the nonviolent communications. This guy was telling us the story about someone who he was telling them that we have to be ourselves and we have to attain to our needs, our proper, deeper needs, and we have to communicate them. So, and someone in his session went home and said to his mother that she was very furious. I will stop cooking, she said, for you. She was in his session. Stop cooking. All my life I cook for you. Yeah. And they said, thanks God, you stopped cooking for us. Why? Because with her cooking, everything else came into the picture. They felt guilty all the time because she was cooking for them. Can you imagine this unfreedom from somebody doing good to you? It's a better don't do good. Be yourself. Be what you want to be, and we will all be happy and enjoy each other. So this is, even in this case, what to say about some bad things. So, all right. I think we can continue with this. Upadrashta Anumanta, this is about Purusha. This is quite interesting. Upadrashta Anumanta Bharta Bhokta Maheshwarah. Paramatma iti chapi uktah dehe smin Purushav para. So Upadrashta, the one, the seer or the observer or witness, the witness, Anumanta, the source of consent, Sri Aurobindo translates, or the one who gives consent. Bharta, the upholder of the work of nature. Bhokta, her enjoyer. Maheshwara, Almighty Lord, and Paramatma, the Supreme Self, is the Supreme Soul seated in this body. So these are the characteristics of the soul in us. Yes, Doug.
Yeah, would it have been the same if he had said Sakshi instead of
I think so.
Upadrashta?
I think so. It's just another word. Drashta is the seer, Sakshi is the witness. But interesting, Upadrashta. Yes, so the one who sees around or sees near, sees at the distance, so it means the gap is there because he is approximately there, so to say, attending to. But what is interesting, the whole range, or first the witness, then the Anumanta, then Bharta, the upholder, and then the Bhokta. These are the four things which Sri Aurobindo speaks in his yoga, in his own diary. He writes about these four different interesting. First is the Shuddhi, then Mukti, then Siddhi, then Bhukti. The four different elements of his yoga. And he also describes the witness as the first liberation, yes, the unborn self. This is Upadrashta, or the Sakshi. And then Anumanta is the second level, where we recognize that he is not only a witness, Purusha, separated from Prakriti, he is not only himself detached and separated from the actions of Prakriti, and Prakriti is all the actions, activities, and actors, yeah? And he is only enjoying what she does. He is also the one who sanctions the movements of Prakriti. Prakriti is doing, but she is always waiting for his sanction. She is always asking him whether to go ahead or not. Yes or no. Tell me either yes or no. So he tells her silently, he says yes, and she goes ahead, continuing doing it. Or he says silently no, and then she cannot continue. She has to stop and change her way of doing things. Then he is Bharta, the one who supports all the movements, first by consent, then by his presence. It's closer to Maheshvara already, and then he's a Bhokta, the one who is totally identified with her movements. And then she stops being Prakriti, and he Purusha, she becomes Shakti, and he becomes Ishvara. So they become Ishvara Shakti, totally united in the action. So you can see this kind of lineage. Yeah.
So the Upadrashta corresponds to the Shuddhi, and the Anumanta corresponds to the Mukti. And what are the two that correspond to Bharta and Bhokta?
Maybe not like that
Oh,
corresponds.
it's not so close. Okay.
I don't think so, but there is a kind of an allusion of some kind of this four movement. First, you are free, you find yourself, yeah. So you have to purify yourself to find yourself, yeah.
Right.
And then when you are mukta, you can sanction things, yeah. I will do a little kind of mischievous kind of treatment here of this. So you once you are mukta, you can say yes or no to whatever, yeah, because you are free. And then you have this siddhi to support whatever Prakriti is or does or wants to do, and then you are the enjoyer of all what comes to you your way, yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds like each stage is a little more stabilized and complete development from the prior stage. The
Yeah.
Shuddhi could be temporary, but in the Mukti, it has to be more established self.
Very nice. Thank you. This is
Yeah.
great.
And then the Bharata would be not only is it so established for yourself, but you can actually support others, or at least Prakriti. It's kind of this eagerness to see Prakriti continue like this, taking over not only your own life, but perhaps a broader life. I'm just speculating there.
Yeah, siddhis. For example, all the siddhis in nature are there already the presence of the Purusha in Prakriti. Yeah. So,
yeah. Then in the Bhokta, could it be that you're just enjoying watching the whole show
right.
in its fullness? Oh,
Right.
That's good. Do you remember where Sri Aurobindo discusses those four?
I think it is in the archives. You can find these four stages, and it is elsewhere. I don't remember now. In the letters on yoga, definitely, all these four are mentioned. 4 stages of his. By the way, from here also depends all his yoga, integral yoga, on these 4 stages. First purification, then liberation, then perfection, and then enjoyment. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And here they are in one line. So I thought maybe Sri Aurobindo even refers to this, or maybe takes hint from here, because this is, the scripture actually. All right. So this is about Purusha, who he is in this body. And then again, yes.
Can we say Prakriti is objective and Purusha is subjective?
Yeah, can say so.
Thank you.
Though Prakriti subjective, there are layers and layers of subjective Prakriti also. Yes, ego, the concepts, responsibility. People may think that this is subjective, but in pure sense, subject is someone who cannot be easily objectivized, who has its own entity, subjective entity, who does not depend on what is happening. All right, ya evam vetti purusham, the one who knows thus Purusha, prakritim cha gunaih saha, and prakriti together with gunas, sarvatha vartamanopi, existing in all the forms, in all possible modalities, and nasa bhuyoh abhijayate, he is not born again. He shall not be born again as the subject to Prakriti. This is important. I am adding this as a subject to Prakriti. He will be born again, but he will be born free, at will, at his will. Yeah, not kind of unconsciously born. Dhyanena atmani pashyanti kechit atmanam atmana anye sankhyena yogena karma yogena chapare anye tu evam ajanantah shrutva anyebhyah upasate tepi atitarantyeva mrityum shruti parayanah. So dhyanena atmani pashyanti, by the dhyana yoga, dhyana is meditation, by dhyana in oneself, those who see themselves by themselves, kechit atmanam atmana pashyanti, who see by the self themselves in themselves by dhyana, by meditation. Anye sankhyena yogena karma yogena chapare. Others by sankhya. Sankhya is the philosophy, or we can say by, how else we can say, by detachment. Yeah.
Could you say Sankhya is more of the contemplation of one's relationship to the multiplicity?
Good. It's kind of philosophy, kind of spiritual philosophy. Yes.
But unlike most of Western philosophy, it's more contemplative to apply to your own life and your own perceptions.
Right, it's not Western philosophy, yes. It's more, yes, contemplation, thinking over, finding in irreducibles, those tattvas, finding Purusha and Prakriti as two eternal beings. This is all Sankhya. Yeah? This is the way of proceeding to the liberation. Or yoga, by yoga, or maybe Sankhya Yogena, Sankhya and yoga by action and contemplation, or karma yogena, or by the karma yoga, detachment from the fruit of action, from the modality, and from the actor himself. So others are following by this way, anye tu, but others, evam ajanantach, thus not knowing, shrutva nyebhyah upasati, having heard from others they are worshipping the divine. Tepi cha, and those, but however arrived at, it carries us beyond death and immortality. Tepi chatitarantieva mrityum shruti parayanach. And they who follow shruti, the knowledge, the spiritual knowledge given, such as, for example, Gita, those who follow Gita, let us say, they cross over the death, go beyond. It carries us, Sri Aurobindo says, it carries them beyond death to immortality. So even those who hear it from others can get the support. That's what we are doing. We are coming to Sri Aurobindo, to the Gita, to learn from them about our path and to be carried to immortality. And this is the coming closer to the end of the chapter. Yavat sanjayate kinchit sattvam sthavara jangamam kshetra kshetrajna samyogat tadvidhi bharatarshabha. Thus you know, O best of Bharatas, from the everything, all the creatures, every being, moving or not moving, whoever is born here in this world comes from the union of kshetra and kshetrajna. Kshetrajna is Purusha, kshetra is Prakriti. Everything is here born by their combination. There's no one else here, only the result of these two. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishthantam parameshwaram vinashyatsu avinashyantam yafpashyati sapashyati. And the one who sees in the destructible or in the perishable, the unperishable one, the higher Lord Parameshwaram, staying in all the beings, equally distributed. He indeed sees. Who thus sees, he sees. Samam pashyan hi sarvatra, samavasthitam ishvaram, nahi nasti atmanatmanam tato yati param gatim. Samam pashyan, seeing equally, indeed he, sarvatra, everywhere. Samavasthitam, samavasthitam, staying in all. Ishvaram, the Lord, being located in all the beings. Nahi nasti atmanatmanam, by himself he is not damaging himself or hurting himself. Tato yati parangatim, and from that he goes or attains to the supreme status or to the supreme aim. He does not injure himself by casting his being into the hands of desire and passions. This is what Sri Aurobindo has. So that adventure which we read in Savitri, he is not damaging. He cannot damage himself. Even being totally destroyed by Prakriti, his outer being, he will never be damaged. And thus, having that poise, he attains to the supreme status. Prakritya iva chakarmani kriyamanani sarvashaha yafpashyati tathatmanam akartaram sapashyati. Prakritya, and by Prakriti indeed eva. Karmani kriyamanani sarvashah. All the actions are being done without remainder. Yafpashyati, the one who sees tathatmanam, in that way the self. Akartaram, the one who does not do the action. Sapashyati, he indeed sees. So one should see the Purusha as not involved in the activities of Prakriti. All the actions are done by Prakriti alone, and Purusha is not involved in her doings. Which is not totally true, because we saw he is Anumanta, he is Bharta, and he is Bhokta, the enjoyer. But as an enjoyer, he is involved, yeah, as a supporter, as a sanctioner, but not as a doer. That subtle distinction. I think we are coming to the end. Oh no, not. Maybe we stop because there are a few more. I don't want to overload you at the end.
Yes. Vladimir, I want to point attention in the 27th sloka,
Okay.
because I think express a very deep meaning about sunyata, the wisdom of emptiness.
Oh, there is no this sanjayate. Sanjayate means born. Yavat, as sanjayate, one is born, kimchit, whatever is taking shape of the body, sattvam, whatever the being, sthavara jangamam, steady or not steady, moving or not moving, kshetra jnasam yogat. It is coming from the union of kshetra, the field, and the no field. There is no shunya here or something.
Yeah, it's in the sense of what it really exists is in the combination of both.
Okay.
Do you know what I want to say?
Not really. Maybe Doug will help. He is raising his hand.
Well, I was actually going to ask a question about another word there, sattvam. But it's a useful discussion, I think, that Siegfried's question about relations, which now, if we can reword his question to say, is there a relationship between Sunjata and Sanjayate? My guess is that Sunjata, being nothingness, would not be the source of the Sanjayate, everything coming out of that. That's the difference.
You mean shunyata? Yes,
Shunyata, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shunyata.
Shunya is the emptiness or zero, yes. It's not emptiness in proper sense, because emptiness in proper sense is not possible, yes. There must be something there. Yeah. Some emptiness must be there.
Could you call it a conscious emptiness?
Something, yes, of the unborn self, or the not manifested being is there, yes.
Okay, so the question I had on sattva, is it's usually used in the sense of goodness, and here it's used in the sense of being.
Beingness, yes.
Yeah. So is it implying a good being, or
not necessarily, but the one who is, yes. It's from root us, to be, yes. Sat is a participle present tense, being, basically. Sattvam, literally beingness. Yeah? So any being, kimchit, whatever sattvam, whatever beingness, whatever the existence, yeah, sthavara jangamam, whatever, moving or not, yeah, is born from some yoga.
So I wasn't aware that sat, in addition to being a noun for reality or truth or existence, it's also a verb.
Sat is actually the present participle from root us, yes.
Oh, okay.
San
Yeah.
santo santaha santam santo sataha sata sadbhyam sadbhi. So it is that word which means literally being, yeah,
Mhm.
the one who is, who truly is. So sattvam, tvam is the suffix of ness, or ship, or hood, yeah. So it is beingness, literally. So any imaginable being, whatever the being, you know, it is in the most probably in Heideggerian sense, sattvam here.
Yeah, so is the term homonym, where you have the two words which look and sound the same, but they're actually the different origins and different meanings between the
No,
sattva.
they are from the same origin. Interestingly, that's Rajas, Sattvam, and Tamas. Sattvam is the same from Sat. From here, Satya. Satya
Ah.
is truth, that which
Right.
is. And
Mhm.
so Sattvam is the beingness, that which is also. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The beingness or the existentness?
What you can say existedness, I don't know how it is. But beingness is already existing word, which is quite beautiful, beingness. The being from Heideggerian, being and time, that being.
Yeah, but then this samyogat,
Some yoga is from the union, some
the union,
yoga.
the I think this is the point of what I want to say about Sunyata. Is the samyogat is the union of the field and the observer of the field.
Yes.
And when what I understand about Sunyata is when we say
Shunyata, you mean, shunyata.
Shunyata is when it's empty of the existence of the field alone, independent, or the emptiness of the existence of the observer or the knower of the field. But the only existence, the wisdom of Shunyata is the Samyogat, the union of both. This is what really exists.
Yeah, well, yeah, you try to justify Buddhism in this way, which is quite interesting because Jayashri is here also from with Buddhistic background. You know how Buddhism lost to India and why Buddhism had to leave India in its majority, because they couldn't answer, as I know from what my study of Indian philosophy, they couldn't answer one question. That very question which you are now raising, who is knowing about Shunya? Who is being liberated? If there is nobody, then how do you know about it? And that was the stumbling block, and they had to leave. They lost to Advaita. Advaita was insisting on this question. It was Shankaracharya's winning point. He was all the time disputing with. They are very close. Actually, they speak the same thing, Advaita and Buddhism, in a way. But only the Buddhism does not believe that there is Atma. The universe is anatma, without Atman, without self. Buddhism is not even a religion. Yeah, it's rather a psychology of some kind, which is helping us to clean up all the perception and to arrive at fresh perception of things. Yes.
But I think I understand in another way. In the it's like the oppositions. When we try to catch the shunyata, the point is not the emptiness. The point is nothing exists by itself.
Good. I like it. Yeah. Nothing exists by itself. So Prakriti will be doing the works and doings and creating doers on the fly. Yes. She will be managing anything, whatever Purusha will sanction. and enjoy. She wants him to enjoy. Yeah? She's always offering him the enjoyment. And if he's not enjoying, she's not happy. She changes, she looks for other ways to create something that Purusha would really like. You know? So that's why she creates surprises, wars, miseries, because somehow she wants to surprise Purusha in some way.
And the thinking is Prakriti, isn't it? The thinking process
Yeah.
is Prakriti as well.
Absolutely.
Then it's very difficult to be in the side of Purusha.
Yeah, in a way, right. To separate Purusha from Prakriti is not an easy job. It is called mukti, and there are very few muktas in this world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so we're sort of trying to anthropomorphize Prakriti and Purusha, where she's always bending over backwards, doing everything she possibly can to please him. But is he also sort of leaning over to approve what she?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know the whole secret knowledge. You there, you read how he. Please read yourself, because this is
Yeah.
the whole canto is about how he gives himself to her.
Right.
Whatever she may do, he enjoys, and he is happy to lose himself and find himself anew in her. He's looking for himself anew in her, yeah, through her. So this is an amazing description of their relations and love.
So this two-sided flexibility and attempt to please each other introduces a sense of play and adventure and free spirit.
Love. This
Yeah.
is the relations of love. Absolutely. And he is ready to fulfill all her caprices, as Sri Aurobindo says, all her whims. Whatever she may want, he will follow her and allow her to do. Do it, my dear. Enjoy. He will enjoy everything, even miseries.
Yeah, I wonder if Sri Aurobindo was exercising his humor when he called it whims and caprices. You know, if the mother of the universe is full of whims and caprices, it makes things sound a little bit arbitrary, except that it's all done with a supreme level of mutual love.
Yeah, that tells us that he loves her unconditionally, you know, because she is his Shakti in a way. Only we don't see it yet. At the end, we see that she is him. So how else would he do? Yeah. So this is a mystery, of course. Great. Okay, I will close with mantra because we are already a little late. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santo Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyanto Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.